Part 10. Beast Tamer, Divine Beast Tamer. Author, I am Lao Wu. Chapter 91. Night. Hey, it's getting dark and you still haven't left. Lin Chen looked at Kuina, who was staying here, and said angrily, "You came here to trick me into eating and drinking, and you also want to trick me into sleeping." "It's getting dark, let's go to sleep," Kuina said to Lin Chen, selectively deaf. Lin Chen looked at Kuina. Kuina also looked at Lin Chen. "Okay, I've finally convinced you. Go upstairs and there is a small bedroom next to it." "Who are you going there?" Lin Chen said angrily. Kuina already behaved like this. Lin Chen wouldn't say anything to drive people away with a shameless face. People are shameless. "Good," Kuina smiled and nodded, kissed Lin Chen directly on the face, and ran upstairs. "What a sin. But it still smells good," Lin Chen said to himself, and then went upstairs to sleep. "Don't get me wrong, we didn't sleep together. Lin Chen slept in the master bedroom, and Kuina slept in a small bedroom next to it. There was everything in it, and Lin Chen was afraid that there would be something wrong. When friends come here, it would be awkward if they don't have a place to sleep, so they are ready to look for them. As for what kind of friends Lin Chen has, if you want to ask, then you have to ask Lin Chen. Lin Chen is now, I don't have many friends, but that doesn't mean I'll have a few friends in the future. Who doesn't have a few friends in this world?" He simply washed up. Lin Chen lay on his bed and fell asleep quickly. Isn't there a saying? It's called heartless. People with weak lungs always fall asleep very quickly, and Lin Chen is like this now. Early the next morning, Lin Chen felt as if there was something heavy on his body, and his breathing was a little unsmooth. Lin Chen opened his eyes in a daze. Looking at the thing pressing on him, he suddenly woke up. Kuina. When did this woman come here? Didn't he lock the door from behind? How did she get in? Lin Chen's face turned dark. Will lie on top of him. Kuina wakes up and has to report to school today. What's wrong? Kuina opened her eyes in a daze and looked at Lin Chen in confusion. I also want to ask you, what did you do to me? Lin Chen said angrily. He pushed Kuina away with a dark face. After checking, he found that he didn't find what he imagined. What a pity. Lin Chen smashed his mouth and looked at Kuina, who was still sleeping like a pig. "Na, this bitch really doesn't think of herself as a man. She just slept peacefully." Lin Chen thought angrily. Then he walked to the door and looked at the door lock of his room. He was already lying on the bed. The girls who were still sleeping were ruined. Forget it, this is the first and last time I really treat myself as a vegetarian, Lin Chen slowly thought. If there is a next time, Lin Chen won't be polite. This is all delivered to the door. But this time, looking at Kuina, who was still sleeping, let it go. Lin Chen, after a simple suction, when she came out, Kuina had already woken up. Hey, Kuina looked at Lin Chen with a silly smile. Lin Chen glanced at Kuina angrily. Why don't you go to your own room to sleep? That bed is too small, it's so uncomfortable to sleep on, Kuina muttered. Lin Chen. Kuina is a little over 2 meters tall, so she is indeed a bit small on that small bed. Go and wash up quickly, class will start soon. Lin Chen said slowly. Good. I'll go right away, Kuina nodded and went to wash up. It wasn't as troublesome as other women, who had to put on makeup and so on. It was done in 5 minutes. Suddenly Lin Chen heard something. Where did Kuina get the toiletries? What do you use to wash your face? Lin Chen looked at Kuina. Yours, Kuina said matter-of-factly. Lin Chen looked at this woman speechlessly. She was really careless. Lin Chen didn't say anything, and it seemed that this woman wouldn't listen. She still went her own way. But when it comes to such a person, it's nice to have beautiful beauties around. On the way, Lin Chen looked at the message on his points watch. he was assigned to the S-level class. There are a total of 50 places in the S-level class and the best resources. Not a month there will be a class ranking battle. And ranking is also related to the allocation of resources. There are only so many resources, and the S-class has half of it, which is half of the entire freshman class. Among them, the first place accounts for the majority. This mechanism tells the truth is a bit cruel, but it can motivate students very well. Who doesn't want to get good resources? Even people from big families like Wu Zhao and others are the same. Although Wu Zhao's family is in the third class of Shenglin star on the planet, but it is a branch like the Ji family, otherwise Wu Zhao's family would not be able to get Wu Zhao's pure-blood alien true dragon and other lower star beasts. Look at Ji Hao's first star beast and Lin Yu's second star beast. One star beast will know that the gap is too big. Back to the topic, but in terms of resources, it is still not as good as Shenlong University. After all, it is a school supported by the Shenlong Empire. With the endorsement of the huge power of the Shenlong Empire, among them it is conceivable that the resources are comparable to those of rotten fish and shrimps. Otherwise, why would these people come from their own families to go to school? Isn't it popular in their own families? Of course, resources are only one of them. The most important thing is personal connections. Those who can enter Shenlong University and graduate perfectly, as long as they go out, they are all talents. This is not just for words, students who graduate from Shenlong University every year. I don't know how many forces are coveted, especially Lin Chen. The wild beast master. Talent is always the most precious. When you transferred here, what class were you assigned to? Lin Chen looked at Quina and asked. He's the last one in the S-class. Quina curled her lips and said slowly. She has no shortage of resources, but she is also greedy. The resources of Shenlong University are not something that ordinary people can enjoy. While she is greedy, she is also a little unhappy with this ranking, but fortunately she is not. There will be a qualifying match in a month. Just re-rank when the time comes. In addition, after the qualifying match, there is another highlight, and that is the promotion match. The last 10 of the S-level class will compete with the top 10 of the classes below the S-level class fight. If you win, you will enter the S-level class, and if you lose, you will go back to Class A. Of course, the bottom 10 of the A-level class will also fight with the top 10 of the B-level class. And so on. Although such a competition system is cruel, it can select real talents from it. It is impossible to wait for death, and there are points. Points are also an important factor in Shenlong University. Beast Tamer, Divine Beast Tamer. Author, I am Lao Wu. Chapter 92. Ranked battles have a point reward and punishment mechanism. For 1,000 challenge points, the winner will receive 1,000 points. Of course, these 1,000 points will be deducted from the loser's points. If there are not that many, then you will lose points. When you lose 10,000 points, you will be automatically kicked out of Shenlong University. In a word, Shenlong University does not support idlers and bastards. Many people are kicked out every year, but it is not unheard of. Of course, in order to protect the weaker and lower rank students. Those with high rankings cannot challenge students with lower rankings. Only low-ranking students want to challenge high-ranking students. Of course, most people are not that stupid, except for those who are too inflated to see their own strength and have no idea of what to do. With Quina's talent and strength, she could certainly enter Shenlong University, but this was different from what Lin Chen thought. She originally thought that the Shenlong Empire and the Bald Eagle Empire were mortal enemies. But now it seems that I thought too badly. There may be some friction, but these frictions are not enough to cause the two empires under the two human federations to really stop communicating with each other. After all, there are foreign enemies outside, and if you fight internally too hard, you are really looking for death. However, Lin Chen himself is not sure yet. Anyway, it is not what he thought before. The two of them walked directly towards the S class. When passing by the college, Lin Chen always felt that the seniors looked at him in strange ways. It's like looking at a big fat sheep. As a result, Lin Chen asked Kuina a question. Well, are there flowers on my face? Lin Chen asked Kuina. There are no flowers, but there are eye drops, Kuina said seriously. Lin Chen. Forget it. Lin Chen also saw that Kuina is a straight girl who can say whatever she wants. If she wants her to be gentle, at least she may not be able to do it now. By S grade 1 class. Lin Chen and Kuina walked in. Except for Wu Zhao, Lin Yuyu, Wu Xiao, Xiao Hao, and Tang Ning, whom they had met once, Lin Chen didn't know anyone else. But Lin Chen looked carefully. I took a look. I found that Ji Hao was not in the S-level class. Ji Hao has God-level qualifications. If he can keep his true intentions, it is not impossible to enter the S-level class. Lin Yuyu has already entered, let alone in the Saint Lan Xing defeated Lin Yuyu's Ji Hao. But this guy ruined himself. Apart from that, Lin Chen didn't know anyone else, but these guys seemed to know him. And the look in his eyes, just like those seniors, they were like looking at big fat sheep, which was a bit baffling to Lin Chen. Soon, the bell rang for class. A graceful figure, wearing high heels and black stockings, a white t-shirt, and she was wearing a black hip-hugging skirt and her long burgundy hair was a little messy. She walked in yawning as if she hadn't woken up yet. Hello everyone, I am your counselor and your homeroom teacher. I am also your martial arts teacher. Mu Swecking said lazily, yawning as she spoke. She also had a pair of gold-rimmed eyes on her beautiful face. The all-seeing eye, Lin Chen looked at Mu Swecking silently. Name, Mu Swecking. Qualification, Super God. Rank? Talent? Route, physical training. Lin Chen. Body training? How could such a delicate beauty take the path of body training? The lazy Mu Swecking felt a sense of peeping and looked over. With a smile on her lips, she instantly appeared in front of Lin Chen. Little guy, if you are not strong enough, don't randomly explore people who are much stronger than you. Such behavior can easily offend people, Mu Swecking said lazily. A slender finger appeared on Lin Chen's forehead and flicked it. Bang! Lin Chen covered his forehead. It hurt. It really hurt. Ever since he walked into the body after the road construction, Lin Chen never felt so painful again. But now, Lin Chen feels like an ordinary person. It hurts like hell. Tears almost fell out. Let me give you a little lesson, Mu Swecking yawned and returned to the podium. Lin Chen covered his forehead and grimaced in pain. He finally met a physical practitioner other than himself, but this physical practitioner is too powerful, some are too strong and some are not. It's unreasonable. Okay, today is your first time in class. You don't need to introduce yourself or anything. I can't remember it anyway, and I'm too lazy to remember it, Mu Swecking said slowly. Otherwise, let's get straight to the point. After entering this class, you will be under my control. You can do whatever I tell you to do. If you don't want to, you can leave, Mu Swecking said calmly. But no one is a fool, let's go. Mu Swecking can be the head teacher of the S-level class, and there is no doubt about her strength. Now directly announce the resources of our class. You should all know that the resources of Shenlong University are not for useless people. Therefore, the resources occupied by the first place are 30% of the entire class, the second place is 15%, and the third place is 5%. The remaining 50% will be received by the remaining 47 of you according to your ranking. They are almost the same, but in order. Mu Swecking said lightly. Now the first one comes up and gets your resources. Lin Chen, Mu Swecking directly took out all the resources for the first month from the space ring. The elemental crystal X100 has no attributes, which means that any star beast can use it, and the elemental crystal contains the spiritual power is no worse than any crystal of light. Shenlong body training liquid, where did he go? Although the name is a bit crude, the effect is far better than ordinary bodybuilding things. Lin Chen covered his head and walked up. Mu Swecking looked at Lin Chen with a hint of color. This guy is Lin Chen? Mu Swecking has never seen Lin Chen's photos, so it's normal that she doesn't know. There is only a list of students. Next, Wu Zhao. Don't think it's too much, but it's still a lot. You must know that this is only 1 month's resources for the first year of college. They will be distributed in the second month, and as the strength increases, more and more resources will be provided. If this cycle continues, the bastard will only be eliminated. Okay, the resources have been distributed. If you want to obtain good resources, then everyone should work hard in the ranking battle at the end of the month. Also, I forgot to mention that your points can be exchanged for various resources in the Shenlong University Mall. It doesn't matter whether it's for cultivation, used by star beasts, or even exercises. Mu Swecking added. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Beast Tamer, Divine Beast Tamer. Author, I am Lao Wu. Chapter 93. Okay, now follow me to the dual field and let me see the strength of your S-class students, Mu Swecking said lazily. She took the lead and walked directly towards the Shenlong University's Ju Arena. A dual arena with the same architectural style as ancient Rome. Release your first star beast now. The beast master will gradually understand his own combat power later. Now, release your star beast, Mu Swecking said calmly. Star beasts of different shapes appeared in the dual field after streams of light. Mu Swecking also summoned her own star beast. Bang! A terrifying behemoth appeared in the duel. In the field. More than 20 meters tall, with bulging muscles. Wearing thick armor. Omniscient eyes. Name, Ancient Orc Tyrannosaurus. Qualification, Epic. Rank. Attributes, Fighting, Fire. Lin Chen. Now, it's your opponent. Who of you will come first, or together? Mu Swecking looked at Lin Chen and others with a half-smile on her face. I come. Quina had a fighting spirit in her eyes and directly commanded her Black Knight to charge. As for joining forces, it's strange that people like Lin Chen can join forces. Who doesn't have their own pride and joins forces, they can't lose face. Please ask someone else. Bang! The corner of Lin Chen's mouth twitched, and to Lin Chen's surprise, they met each other. The Black Knight flew directly backwards. The ancient belt orc Tyrannosaurus directly slapped, and then the Black Knight hit GG. It's that simple. It's a simple matter. The next thing happened one by one, and then they were hit one by one. There were no accidents. They were all slaps, no matter who it was. The same was true for Wu Zhao, and her bloody true dragon also. They were all knocked unconscious with a slap. The difference in strength was too big. It was too big to make up for. Why do you, the first one, just watch and not do anything? Now you are the only one left, Mu Swecking said softly and looked at Lin Chen. The corner of Lin Chen's mouth twitched. How to fight? This woman clearly wants to establish her prestige. Others don't know, but how could Lin Chen not know? How much is still knowing the details of this woman? Needless to say, her rank, she must be a diamond-level existence, and she is also a physical practitioner. This is what hurts Lin Chen the most. Ahem, I give up on that teacher Mu. Lin Chen's mouth twitched and he said slowly, I'm just playing chicken, looking for abuse. Give up? Is this how people lose? After all, you are also the #1 person in Shenlong University now, why don't you show it off? Mu Swecking looked at Lin Chen with a strange expression. There's no need to show it off, there's no need to be embarrassed, Lin Chen said with a smile. He should be cowardly, but he should be cowardly. Even if the bully comes up, what can he do? Scrape or massage this ancient orc Tyrannosaurus? What, he can still hurt this star beast. Alright. Since you admit defeat, forget it. Mu Swecking looked at Lin Chen with a smile on her lips, and looked at Lin Chen with a profound look. This guy is different from other stupid young men. Now, you can go and have a rest. You must come to the martial arts class in the afternoon. 100 points will be deducted for being late. Get out of class is over now, Mu Swecking said in a deep voice. Then they left Lin Chen and left. This was completely different from what Lin Chen thought, but he didn't care. Anyway, the resources were obtained, so Lin Chen didn't care at all. On the way back, Mu Swecking directly called up the information of Lin Chen and others from the watch on her hand. She began to evaluate them one by one. Basically, they were all A level, with a few A and an S level. There are only two winners, and that is Kuina and Wu Zhao. As for the others, they are A+. When seeing the evaluation behind the first place Lin Chen, Mu Swecking frowned. Although from various aspects, Lin Chen didn't show much, but the S level didn't run away. Moreover, Mu Swecking also noticed that Lin Chen also took the path of physical cultivation. This is interesting. Unexpectedly, several interesting seedlings appeared this time, but they are still too immature now, Mu Swecking said lazily, returning to her lazy look again. Over here at the duel. Lin Chen looked at Kuina, Lin Yuyu, Wu Xiao, and Wu Zhao beside him in confusion. Others. Lin Chen can understand the three coming over, but Wu Zhao, why are you coming over to join in the fun? Why are you following me? Lin Chen looked at Wu Zhao and asked slowly. No one familiar, Wu Zhao simply replied. Well, Lin Chen wasn't talking about anything. Lin Chen, I want to challenge you. Bet on 1,000 points. Just when Lin Chen was about to leave, a voice sounded, and everyone in the S-level class who was about to leave stopped. Who are you? Lin Chen looked at the classmate who said he wanted to challenge himself. My name is Starko. Starko looked at Lin Chen with a smile on his face. Big piece of shit? The name, Lin Chen couldn't hold himself any longer. This guy's parents must have a grudge against him. He's called this name. Starko, no, he's a big piece of shit, Starko said with some embarrassment, and the students on the side all said in a playful way. Don't want, Lin Chen refused without even thinking. No, according to the rules of the academy, you must accept the gambling battle, Wu Zhao said softly from the side. Yeah, Lin Chen looked at Kuina and the others and asked. Kuina, Wu Xiao, and Lin Yuyu all nodded. Trouble. Why? Lin Chen had a troubled look in his eyes. According to the school's regulations, those with higher rankings must accept challenges with lower rankings. Those with high rankings will challenge those with low rankings. Those with low rankings do not need to accept the challenge. Wu Zhao said lightly and glanced at Lin Chen. Why do you all know? Lin Chen looked around. It seemed like he didn't know. Don't you read the school rules of Shenlong University? It's there. Lin Yuyu said angrily. Who is a normal person to watch? Lin Chen said angrily. Omniscient I. Name, Starko. Qualification, God level. Rank, Bronze 3. Root, spiritual cultivation. Okay, I accept your challenge, Lin Chen said helplessly, I will accept 1,000 points. So, are you fighting a beast master or a star beast? Lin Chen looked at Starko and asked. Of course it's the beast master, my star beast was just injured, Shike said with a smile. Lin Chen. People who know that Lin Chen is a physical practitioner will have their mouths twitching. Gone, Tang Ning said to her small team. Gone? Brother Tang Ning, don't you want to take a look? One of them asked Tang Ning. It's boring. The battle is over as soon as he chooses to fight as a beast master, Tang Ning said without looking back. Beast Tamer, Divine Beast Tamer. Author, I am Lao Wu. Chapter 94. Lin Chen and Starko stood in the middle of the duel venue. Witnessed by other students. Game start, Wu Zhao acted as the temporary referee. He announced directly. Trouble, Lin Chen had a fierce light in his eyes. Normally, Lin Chen was submissive, but when they were fighting together, it was like he was a different person. Purple-red thunder exploded. Lie down for me, Lin Chen appeared in front of Starko in an instant. With a fierce light in his eyes, the purple-red thunder sledgehammer instantly condensed. With a violent hammer, it hit Starko's body directly. The next moment, the ground of the field cracked, and Starko was directly embedded in it. What a hassle, Lin Chen said lightly. The purple-red thunder disappeared, and the battle ended in an instant. Many people who watched Lin Chen's battle had a B number in their hearts. Violent, concise, and devastating. Lin Chen directly took the weapon from Starko's hand. I took away 1,000 watch points. Gone, Lin Chen said indifferently. Wu Zhao, Lin Yuyu, Kuina, and Wu Xiao followed Lin Chen and left the duel place. This guy is a physical practitioner, right? Probably so, but the one lying on the ground didn't know it. I wanted to reach the sky in one step, but ended up being a joke. I deserved it? Nothing to be pitiful about. Many S-level classes looked at Starko, who was lying on the ground, still embedded in the ground. Their eyes were not sympathy, but disdain. The strong are respected. This is the principle of this world. Although the Shenlong Empire is one of the few countries in the Human Federation that still abides by the rules, the concept of respecting the strong has been deeply rooted in the hearts of the people. Even ordinary people know this truth. Although the law is enforced in the Shenlong Empire, everyone knows that the strong are respected. As long as they don't kill people and act indiscriminately, there won't be any problems. The strong have privileges, which are universal in that world. This is the naked side that every world has. As for Starko, although he is pitiful, no one sympathizes with him. Why are you following me? Lin Chen looked at the four women behind him and said angrily. I'm going home, Quina said carelessly. Go home, Wu Xiao is keenly aware of this. Blind Shen, you discovered Huadian. I don't know what to do, so I'm following you, Lin Yuyu said slowly. Me too. Underscore. Underscore. Underscore how about solving it? Why don't you wait in line? Although Lin Chen really wanted to say this, he could only think about it. If he really said this, I'm afraid a Shura field would happen. None of these women are easy to get along with. Even if you look at it, the same goes for Wu Xiao, who looked the softest and most adorable. Her head hurt. Fortunately, Lin Chen didn't care about it. He went home directly. He had to go to the martial arts class in the afternoon at 1 o'clock, and it was still early. He might as well go home and have a good rest. There is no point in hanging around the school. Just take a look at what good things are in the school mall. Lin Chen took the four girls home. He went to the gravity room alone. Sitting cross-legged on the ground, Lin Chen directly clicked on the points watches connected to the resource mall of Shenlong University. There are many categories, roughly divided into resources, exercises, and magic weapons. What I am lacking now are resources and weapons. I have no shortage of skills now, but I will talk about them later. Lin Chen thought for a while and clicked on the magic weapon category. Weapons. What Lin Chen needs most now is a weapon that is handy. Open the weapons mall, which is divided into technology and fantasy. Two major types of weapons. Technology weapons of this type are basically those made by technology, and fantasy types require forging by a blacksmith. Different methods of making have different powers, so it depends on the person. Lin Chen opened the product of science and technology. Quantum laser knife, high-frequency vibrating light particles. The terrifying technological products formed only cost 1 million points. It is powerful, but its shortcomings are also obvious. It is too expensive. The corner of Lin Chen's mouth twitched. Forget it, let's look at fantasy weapons. Fantasy weapons are just it is relatively simple, basically made of various precious metals. The price is not expensive, and more importantly, it is basically an embryo. It is a weapon that grows with the Beast Master. Then Lin Chen looked at a black euphorbia. Shining with cold light, it is made of rare swallowing metal. It can swallow other metals to evolve. This metal is rare and difficult to make, but it is also made of the most primitive swallowing metal. Only hardness can be used. As for the sharpness, forget it, it is sharp after all. And it is heavy. The average Beast Master really can't afford it. Even if you can buy it, you can't afford it. The high-level Beast Masters have none at all. It is necessary to use this thing. This makes this rare weapon that looks very awesome and has growth attributes become useless. It feels a bit tasteless and a pity to abandon. The most important thing is that this weapon is from Shenlong University, and there is a purchase qualification on it. You must be a first-year student of Shenlong University to purchase it. The price is 100,000 points. The first-year student and the price is 100,000 points. Basically, it is not possible. If didn't I just happen to meet Bald Eagle University this year? Lin Chen doesn't necessarily need 100,000 points. Points are hard currency at Shenlong University. Who is willing to buy this weapon that looks awesome but is useless for one's own growth? Ah! Ken, Lin Chen looked at this black halberd. The weapon he wanted was hard and heavy. As for sharpness, it doesn't need to be tamped directly. Although special metals such as devouring metal are rare, it does not mean that they are not available. You can still find it if you want to buy it, but it is far from top-notch. Many weapons will add this metal to give the weapon a certain room for growth. Considering that they are all made of swallowing metal, it is really a rare thing. Lin Chen filled in his information and clicked purchase directly. In terms of points, he can earn points, but in terms of weapons, this is the only one. If he doesn't buy it and is bought by someone else, or loses the qualification to buy, then it will really be a loss. There was no place to cry even if I wanted to. The weapons were purchased. Lin Chen looked at the resources category. An attribute crystal only costs 1 point. You can imagine how cheap it is, and the Shenlong body training liquid requires 1,000 points. Lin Chen was secretly stunned. The importance of points was revealed. Lin Chen closed the Shenlong University Mall. It looked like there were still 20,000 points left. Lin Chen exchanged all the remaining fractions into attribute crystals, ice attributes. I bought 2,200 pieces of thunder attribute and light attribute, and just used up a fraction of 6,600 points. The remaining 20,000. Beast Tamer, Divine Beast Tamer. Author, I am Lao Wu. Chapter 95. Wait until Lin Chen comes out of the gravity room. Quina and the other women were still chattering. Even Wu Zhao, who doesn't like to talk, is talking and laughing. You guys go on, I'm going to get something and I'll be right back. Lin Chen said slowly. What? Quina asked Lin Chen curiously. I bought some things in the college mall. For practice. Lin Chen said with a smile, and then went to Shenlong University to get the things he bought. Then he mysteriously returned to the gravity room. What did this guy buy? The points suddenly dropped so much. Wu Zhao looked at the freshman standings. This ranking is only available to novices, and it is only available in the first semester. It will not be displayed in the second semester. Have no idea. Quina and the others looked at each other in confusion. Lin Chen took out the black spurge that was placed in the ring in the gravity chamber. The simple black spurge is not pretty in terms of appearance, but it gives people a special feeling. as if it could swallow even light. The whole body was 2.7 meters tall, and it might weigh about 1,000 kilograms if it was heavy. Lin Chen held it just right in his hand. He waved it softly a few times. It made a roaring sound. Good, Lin Chen was very satisfied, and it was very suitable. The handle of the euphorbia was engraved with two simple typing words, devour. Finally, no more condensed weapons, Lin Chen said to himself. The biggest disadvantage of condensed weapons is that the condensed weapons are easy to collapse. Maybe it has something to do with Lin Chen's mastery of elemental mimicry, but after all, it is not as real as the real thing. Lin Chen pointed out a drop of blood is forced out from the tip. This is a fantasy weapon. The same rules apply. It can recognize its owner, but not everyone can use it. Technological weapons never have this kind of spirituality. Although the weapons are powerful, they can only be said to be more suitable in the early stage. That's it. But now there are very few people who still use fantasy weapons. Technological weapons are more powerful and convenient. Fantasy weapons need to be nurtured slowly by themselves. Only after their own strength improves, the weapons will it's too troublesome to improve. In a word, technology is advancing, and so is spiritual practice. Aren't beast masters also slowly evolving? Technological weapons have gradually become the norm. As for why Lin Chen wants fantasy weapons, weapons are very simple. He is a poor guy with no money. He can't afford them. He doesn't have enough resources, so how can he have the money to buy those technological weapons? Although the basic ones are cheap, they are not as good as the weapons he has condensed. That's why Lin Chen chose fantasy weapons, for no other reason than they are poor. Lin Chen took the devouring euphorbia into his body and slowly used his own spiritual power to nurture the euphorbia and let it change into its own shape. After Lin Chen came out of the gravity room, he found that everyone except Quina had left. How about them? Lin Chen asked Quina. They have all left and gone back to eat, Quina said slowly. How about you? Lin Chen looked at Quina. Of course I am with you, Quina said matter-of-factly. Lin Chen rolled his eyes. Okay, it looks like he has to prepare food for one more person. He went to the kitchen to make something simple. Lin Chen and Quina had a delicious meal directly. Eat. After finishing, to Lin Chen's surprise, Quina actually took the initiative to wash the dishes. Lin Chen thought that Quina didn't know how to do it. When they got down a little faster, Lin Chen and Quina set off slowly. Entered the duel field. The martial arts class was definitely not held in the classroom. After Lin Chen and Quina arrived, everyone else came and left Starko. Now this guy is still lying dead in the infirmary of Shenlong University. It is basically impossible to cultivate well for 2 or 3 days. At 1 o'clock, Mu Swecking arrived belatedly. She took out the roll call list and clicked her name. Why didn't Starko come? Mu Swecking raised her eyebrows. Someone skipped class on the first day. Report, Teacher Mu, classmate Chike is still lying in the infirmary. The person in the same dormitory as Starko raised his hand and said. Why? Mu Swecking raised her eyebrows. Well, Teacher Mu and student Starko went to the infirmary because they challenged me. Lin Chen said to Mu Swecking somewhat speechlessly. That's it? If Starko is absent, 100 points will be deducted. Mu Swecking waved her hand and deducted 100 points from Starko. Lin Chen. Others. So cruel. I just lost 1,000, and I'm still lying dead. Now I've deducted another 100. Everyone has to pay the price for their actions and choices. This is the first lesson I want you to learn. Since you have chosen a challenge, you must also be mentally prepared for the price of failure. Lin Chen comes out. For other pairs of matches, play in order, second and third, fourth and fifth. If you lose, 100 points will be deducted, Mu Swecking said lightly. Lin Chen. What's wrong, teacher? Lin Chen looked at Mu Sweking with a hint of helplessness in his eyes. Lin Chen felt that this guy was targeting him. Can't I come to you if I have nothing to do? Mu Sweking looked at Lin Chen with a smile. Yes, of course. Lin Chen said with a smile. As for asking you to come out, isn't there nothing we can do? There is one person missing. As a teacher, I can only come out to accompany you. Mu Sweking looked at Lin Chen with a smile but not a smile. Lin Chen. A little panicked, a little numb. Teacher, please be gentle. Lin Chen said weakly. Come on, stop whining, Mu Sweking said lightly. Lin Chen looked at the others and left. Only he and Mu Sweking were left here. The others went to fight elsewhere. As for the outcome of the battle, it matters, no one is willing to give up on points. Although it's only the first day, none of the things I saw in Shenlong University's mall are good. Points can never be too much. Purple thunder just it burst out from Lin Chen. Mu Sweking appeared in front of Lin Chen. A long leg wrapped in black silk kicked directly towards Lin Chen. Red T-shaped? The next moment, Lin Chen flew out directly. Heavy blow, it hit the ground. It hurt. It hurt so much. You are also a physical practitioner, so you know what the root of physical training is like. Mu Sweking looked at Lin Chen with a smile on her lips. Grow through battle, Lin Chen said with a grin. He covered his right hand and it was numb. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Beast Tamer, Divine Beast Tamer. Author, I am Lao Wu. Chapter 96. Grow through battle. Good understanding, but fighting alone is not enough. The first thing you have to learn now is to take a beating. The strongest physical training is strength and defense. If you can't learn from being beaten, how can you grow into a fearsome physical practitioner? Mu Sweking said lightly, and the figure appeared in front of Lin Chen. Beaten? How about a different approach? Lin Chen's temper has also risen. Rather than being beaten, how about preventing the enemy from changing hands? The thunder disappeared from Lin Chen's body, and the yellow light appeared on Lin Chen's body. Speed is weight. Teacher Mu, have you ever been kicked by the speed of light? Lin Chen said in a low voice. Golden light rose. Mu Sweking looked at Lin Chen with a glint in her eyes, with a smile on her lips, and her white palm directly grabbed Lin Chen's kick. Golden light. The light was directly wiped out by Mu Sweking's white fingers. Is this also called the speed of light? This is more appropriately called turtle speed, Mu Sweking said calmly, grabbed Lin Chen's feet and swung them, smashing them to the ground. Pooh! Lin Chen got up from the ground and spit out a mouthful of ash he had eaten in his mouth. Mud. Lin Chen looked at Mu Sweking. Speed, strength, defense, even with the bully's abilities, were of no use. He even relied on his body to fight against himself. This is just a humanoid female Tyrannosaurus. Too weak, Mu Sweking said calmly and looked at Lin Chen. Lin Chen. The golden light rose from Lin Chen's body. Even if Mater was beaten severely, he would still bite off a piece of meat today. Facts have proved that Lin Chen wanted to do more. Yes, he was beaten unilaterally from the beginning to the end. As for the battle, it was completely deceptive. Lin Chen was lying on the ground, his whole body hurt. This kind of pain was physical pain. It did not hurt the muscles and bones, and he also had no ability to cultivate. How long? At most, I'll be fine if I get some sleep tomorrow. Like a salted fish, Lin Chen began to doubt life. Is the gap really that big? Your strength is no longer suitable for training with them. You don't need to come to class, but you must come to me every day, Mu Sweking said slowly. Lin Chen. Boss, don't do this. There was a trace of despair in Lin Chen's eyes. Okay, that's it for today. I haven't encountered such interesting sandbags for a long time since I became a teacher. Mu Sweking murmured. Lin Chen. Hiss, Lin Chen took a deep breath, got up from the ground, looked at Mu Sweking leaving, and returned to his home in a somewhat embarrassed state. He washed briefly, drank a bottle of advanced genetic nutrient solution, and started running the exercises directly he started practicing. The body that had reached the limit had a faint feeling of breaking through again. But Lin Chen knew it was his illusion. The small limit was gone at Bronze 3, and what was left was the big limit. To reach the big limit, you must break through the level. The current potential of Bully and Jiao Jiao has increased by 200% in one day, and the breakthrough is only 2 days away. In the next time, Lin Chen began his painful and happy learning, beating time. Time passed slowly. 3 days later, Lin Chen officially broke through Bronze 4, and Jiao Jiao Bully also entered the Bronze 4 category at the same time. Lin Chen started his crazy exercise mode again. In the gravity room, the gravity was directly pulled to 5 times. He started his own hell training. After being beaten during the day, he came back to rest, and then trained until night. His strength increased by leaps and bounds. Lin Chen, who was full of energy, went to school early in the morning to find Mu Sweking. The two unbeatable men every day. After being beaten for an hour, Lin Chen had already started to get better at it. Compared with other classmates, Lin Chen was a special being. Mu Sweking also knew that she was also taking this path. Without guidance at the beginning, she would not have been able to go. There are few detours. Now that I see that Lin Chen is also practicing physical education, I naturally want to train him properly. Teacher Mu, Lin Chen directly found Mu Sweking. Come on, this stage of training ends here. Next is the actual combat training. Follow me, Mu Sweking said to Lin Chen. Practical training? It won't be some old-fashioned secret realm training, right? Lin Chen thought slowly, but still followed Mu Sweking to the parking lot of Shenlong University. Boarding, Mu Sweking said to Lin Chen. A red streamlined supercar full of beauty appeared in front of Lin Chen. Yes, it was a supercar, the one with 4 wheels. Lin Chen almost drooled when he saw it. Today's means of transportation are basically maglev cars and the like. In Lin Chen's memory, this kind of ancient 4-wheeled supercar only existed in his previous life. Like it, Mu Sweking said to Lin Chen. Kindness, Lin Chen nodded and said it was a lie if he said he didn't like it. If the red car body were replaced with black or silver gray, he would like it more. Red is still suitable for a royal sister like Mu Sweking. Teacher, are we going to some secret place? Lin Chen asked Mu Sweking, while looking at the 2 supercars with his hands. They had a frosted touch and were very comfortable. It was a bit like metal, but not like it, but it felt very comfortable. Talking about getting in the car, Mu Sweking said lightly, with a smile on her lips. Oh, Lin Chen sat down in the passenger seat obediently. Looking at Mu Sweking's long legs, he felt a little greedy, but after thinking about Mu Sweking's bad temper, he let it go. He couldn't stand it anymore. Now, if I ask you once, it's still too late to regret it. You will really die, Mu Sweking said slowly, looking at Lin Chen with a glint in her eyes. What is the actual combat? Isn't it like going to a secret realm and killing little monsters or something like that? What else could there be? You can't send me to the border star field of the Human Federation after all. Lin Chen said jokingly. Although there is no interstellar war now, the human border star field has always been guarded. Try to nip the danger in the bud as much as possible, and never let those things enter the human federal star domain step. Although not, it's almost the same, Mu Sweking said slowly. The smile on Lin Chen's face froze. Ahem, Teacher Mu, are you kidding me? Lin Chen said with a smile on his face. Do you think I would do that as a joke? Mu Sweking looked at Lin Chen with a smile. That teacher, is it too late for me to get off the bus now? Lin Chen cried with a sad face. What do you think? Mu Sweking looked at Lin Chen with a smile on her lips. I just gave you a chance, but if you didn't seize it, there's nothing you can do about it, Mu Sweking said regretfully. Lin Chen. What about fighting the little monsters to level up as promised? What about pretending to be cool? Liars are all liars. Beast Tamer, Divine Beast Tamer. Author, I am Lao Wu. Chapter 97. The essence of physical training lies in fighting. Physical training that has not experienced life and death battles cannot grow, Mu Sweking said slowly. Lin Chen. I understand the truth, but I just seem to be underdeveloped. Is there something wrong with me? The place I took you to this time, if you survive it, will definitely be beneficial to you in the future. It will be a huge benefit. Many of the things there are unique and are not available in Shenlong University, Mu Sweking said word for word. But isn't it also dangerous? Lin Chen said faintly. Mu Sweking, this guy is good at everything, why is he so greedy for life and afraid of death? If Lin Chen knew what Mu Sweking thought of, he would definitely sneer at it, who is not afraid of death. Teacher Mu, where is this place, let alone the border line? If so, I will definitely become a deserter, Lin Chen said faintly. Mu Sweking glared at Lin Chen with hatred. She really seemed to have given Lin Chen a hard time. He dared to say anything like this, and he was still a deserter. Didn't he know that desertion was the death penalty? Law enforcement team. Mu Sweking said lightly, rubbing her eyebrows with a headache. Law enforcement team? What is that place? Lin Chen has never heard of it. It's normal that you don't know. After all, this thing belongs to the Human Federation, not an empire, Mu Sweking said slowly. Human Federation? Skip the Dragon Empire? Is this law enforcement team so awesome? Lin Chen looked at Mu Sweking. If the army in the border starfield is the front line of humanity, maintaining the peace of the starfield of the Human Federation, then this law enforcement team is the existence that maintains the order of human society. The power is very huge. What do you think? Mu Sweking said slowly. What exactly does that do? Lin Chen looked at Mu Sweking. With such great power, the things he manages should be quite big. Do you know God? Mu Sweking looked at Lin Chen. Lin Chen nodded. God. Lin Chen naturally knows that there are many gods in this world, and some of them are quite active. People can also cultivate to become gods. Those are the things they have to deal with. Mu Sweking said with solemn eyes. Lin Chen Sigma. Boss, are you kidding me? I'm just a piece of bronze trash. If someone takes one look at me, I'm gone. Are you sure? Lin Chen said with some excitement. I haven't finished speaking yet, why are you excited? And your hands? Mu Sweking raised her eyebrows and looked at Lin Chen's hands. One was placed on her lap, and the other was grabbing the clothes on her chest. Boss, can I not be excited? That's God. I have an old man above me and a young child below me. The child has just been born and is still waiting to be fed. How can you bear it? Lin Chen said to Mu Sweking with runny nose and tears. That organization is to deal with those believers of the chaos evil god, Mu Sweking said lightly. The evil god of chaos? Just by his name, you can tell he is a big boss. Even if he is a believer, I am not something I can deal with, big boss. Lin Chen said with some frustration. Chaos only represents their divine camp, which is an inherently evil existence. Their believers are not much better. The law enforcers are formed to deal with these guys. Among them, law enforcement officers have the right to investigate anyone related to the evil god, no matter who they are, which means that the federal marshal can also do so, Mu Sweking said in a deep voice. Lin Chen. Is he so powerful? However, as a law enforcer, although you have great power, if you abuse your power, many people will die. For example, if you have the power to investigate and suspect someone of being in cahoots with a cult, you can investigate, but if you cannot produce evidence, you will be the unlucky one, Mu Sueking said lightly. Lin Chen. In this case, the power of the law enforcers has indeed been curbed. But it is still very big. Teacher Mu, speaking of which, what happened to that chaos evil god? Lin Chen asked Mu Sueking. The chaos evil god is a god born from negative emotions in the subspace of this world. It can be said that they are immortal and can be sealed, but they cannot be destroyed, because as long as negative emotions exist, they will live forever. This kind of negative emotion is not only the same for humans but also for other races. The chaos evil god is the enemy of all races. Of course, there are many races that believe in the existence of these chaos evil gods, Mu Sueking said to Lin Chen. Understood, Lin Chen touched his chin. To put it bluntly, these evil gods are a collection of negative emotions. They gave birth to sanity and condensed their own godhead, thus becoming evil gods that cannot be destroyed. These evil gods will affect people in the main space from the subspace in various ways. I want to sacrifice to them and spread their fame and fear. Mu Sueking said lightly. Because of the different evil gods they believe in, these evil believers sometimes kill each other, but most of them use ordinary people as sacrifice materials. The law enforcers are targeting these ghosts. Now you get it, Mu Sueking said slowly. Understood, Lin Chen took a deep breath. It turns out that these ghosts still exist because he has too little experience, or in other words, he knows too little. Becoming a law enforcer will bring you many benefits in the future. Do you really think that it is so easy to get in as a law enforcer? No one can get in without a recommender, no matter who comes, Mu Sueking said lightly. Lin Chen. Okay, here we are, Mu Sueking parked the car in the parking lot of a building. Get off the car and follow me, Mu Sueking said slowly while leading Lin Chen. Lin Chen followed Mu Sueking into the building like a good baby. Looking at the building filled with all kinds of the most advanced technology, Lin Chen was like Grandma Lu entering the Grand View Garden. Same, looking around. Then Mu Sueking led directly to the headquarters of the 88th floor law enforcer on the Dragon Star. Captain Mu, everyone passing by said hello to Mu Sueking. Captain Mu. Something changed in Lin Chen's eyes when he looked at Mu Sueking. It turned out that she was also one of the law enforcers, and she was also the captain. By the way, where is that bastard Li Fuegui now? Mu Sueking casually pulled a passing staff member and asked. Minister Li should be in his office, the staff member said to Mu Sueking with some trembling. Okay, you go through the entry procedures for this little guy first, and get everything that needs to be done, Mu Sueking said slowly. Captain Mu, this. Is there something not so good? The staff said softly. If there is anything wrong, I have the final say. If there is any problem, ask them to come to me. Mu Sueking said lightly. Okay, Captain Mu, I'll do it now, the staff said helplessly. Go for it, Mu Sueking said to Lin Chen. Beast Tamer, Divine Beast Tamer. Author, I am Lao Wu. Chapter 98. Lin Chen was taken to work by the staff and went through various procedures. Mu Sueking directly found Li Fuegui's office and kicked the door of the office straight away without any courtesy. With a bang, everyone looked over. But the moment they saw Mu Sueking, everyone's lips twitched. They all knew this celebrity. Oh, that's okay, let's go and do our own thing. Who? Li Fuegui, who was sleeping in the office, was frightened and roared. But when he saw Mu Sueking walking in, the corners of his mouth twitched. Auntie, why are you here? Li Fuegui looked at Mu Sueking with a headache. Logically speaking, he, Li Fuegui, is a well-known figure even on the Dragon Star. But this Mu Sueking is the person he has the most headaches for. Auntie? Am I that old? Mu Sueking looked at Li Fuegui with a smile but not a smile. No, Sister Sueking is so beautiful and moving, she will always be 18 years old. Li Fuegui said with a smile on his face. Forget it, I came here today to bring someone here to join the law enforcers. Let me tell you, Mu Sueking said slowly. Forward, Li Fuegui looked at Mu Sueking with a hint of helplessness on his lips. Mu Sueking's identity was not just a teacher at Shenlong University. Although he is also the captain of the law enforcement team. But these are nothing. No, Mu Sueking looked at Li Fuegui. It's just that this doesn't quite follow the rules, Li Fuegui said slowly, although he can let Lin Chen directly join the enforcer team, as he said before. The enforcer itself has great power, so much so that as long as you have evidence, even the federal marshal will be investigated. Of course, this is just talk. No serious person would do such a thing, a federal marshal. He is a person who stands at the top of the world in terms of force. Who has nothing to do and goes to play with the federal marshal. However, entering the law enforcement team will go through strict investigation and interrogation, and then layers of screening before finally passing. Am I going to let him take over my shift? Of course, it's just preparation. It's possible. The specifics will depend on his future performance, Mu Sueking said slowly. Now that you have said so, Sister Sueking, I have no objection. Li Fuegui took a deep breath and took a deep look at Mu Sueking. Are you taking over from Mu Sueking's class? Thinking of this, Li Fuegui's eyes were filled with heat. But then he thought of something and shook his head. Nothing is that easy. Then I'll leave first, just put it under my team's name. Mu Sueking waved her hand. Got it, Sister Sueking, Li Fuegui nodded. On the other side, Lin Chen was taken by the staff to check his entry level, federal ID number, blood, fingerprints, and a strange instrument. Anyway, it was a very strange instrument. Lin Chen didn't know what the instrument was for. It stayed on his head like a helmet and took it off after a while. This classmate. Test your height here, the staff said to Lin Chen. What is this for? Lin Chen looked at the scanning device in front of him. Draw your height, and then make a nano-strength armor based on your height to protect your body in battle, the staff said slowly. Okay, you can choose the color you like, and finally give me the optical brain watch in your hand, and I will upgrade it for you, the staff said to you. Color? Is dark red okay? Lin Chen asked the staff. Okay, wait a moment, the staff member took the optical brain watch in Lin Chen's hand. He took it and started upgrading it. Mu Sueking also walked towards Lin Chen. Has your watch been upgraded? Mu Sueking asked Lin Chen. Just took it to upgrade, Lin Chen nodded. By the way, Teacher Mu, are you also a law enforcer? Lin Chen looked at Mu Sueking and asked. How? Cannot be done, Mu Sueking looked at Lin Chen and said with a smile on her lips. Yes, but is this okay? And you still have to go to class? Lin Chen asked slowly. I have classes, which have nothing to do with it, and I will only go out when there are tasks. Most of the time I will be idle, so I found a part-time job, Mu Sueking said slowly. That's it, the corner of Lin Chen's mouth twitched. The reason was very good and powerful. But then again, it's definitely not as easy as Mu Sueking said, otherwise, the law enforcement team would not have such great power. I want to ask, Teacher Mu, is that cultist dangerous? Lin Chen looked at Mu Sueking. Let's talk about this after you see it. Mu Sueking didn't give a direct answer. The answer was left to Lin Chen to find out later. Soon, Lin Chen found that his watch had been sent back. It turned dark red. Okay, now, the watch has been upgraded, use your fingerprint to verify it, Mu Sueking said to Lin Chen. Oh, Lin Chen printed a mark on the watch with his finger. The dark red watch flashed, and it was much heavier than when he just took it away. Try the new features now, Mu Sueking said to Lin Chen. New function, Lin Chen looked at the watch on his hand with some doubts. He tapped it with his finger. The black nano war armor, which was as black as the tide, directly covered Lin Chen in it. In less than a second, the war armor covered the on Lin Chen's body. Good, Mu Sueking looked at her whole body wrapped in dark red armor. There was a dragon roaring at the heart of her chest. There was a huge law enforcer logo on the back. A huge golden sword, intended to rule and enforce the law. Mean. How do you feel? Mu Sueking said slowly. Feel good. Lin Chen was in the armor, and there were many digital calculations and the like in front of him, and there was also a SAN value. Lin Chen had a bad feeling. Why is the SAN value so familiar? Mr. K. What's going on with the SAN value? Lin Chen swallowed his saliva and asked. SAN value is also commonly known as sanity value. When the sanity value is less than 50, a person is very dangerous. If it is less than 30, he is basically a cultist. He looks no different from ordinary people, but his mind is full of crazy ideas. Below 0, you will know this later, Mu Sueking said with deep meaning. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Beast Tamer, Divine Beast Tamer. Author, I am Lao Wu. Chapter 99. Lin Chen's claws were numb and something felt wrong. Something is very wrong. This humming san has come out. Will those ghosts in Thulhu escape? Lin Chen was a little panicked. Those ghosts were reasonable, but they actually looked weak. It depends on who they are. Okay, put the armor away. It's best not to use this armor when nothing happens. Wait until it's time to go out on a mission. In addition, when there is a task, it will pop up on your watch. As for whether you accept it or not, it is your business, but your level is the lowest E level. You will not be given any dangerous missions. You will also get points after completing the missions. The points can be used to purchase things in the Enforcer Mall. You can study the rest after you go back. Gone, Mu Sueking said to Lin Chen. The purpose of coming here is just to join Lin Chen among the law enforcers. As for the mission, a single mission is basically nothing. A mission that is too dangerous will give me a bit of trouble. That's it? Mu Sueking drove Lin Chen directly back to her home and left a message. Forget today's daily routine, come back as usual tomorrow. Then Mu Sueking drove away directly. Lin Chen returned to the gravity room. Looking at his upgraded optical brain watch, he clicked on his level in the law enforcement team. E level, there is also an experience bar below, 0/100 is like playing a development game. It looks like he's not as annoyed as he thought, Lin Chen thought slowly. Lin Chen put all other messy thoughts behind. Strength is the key. Now Lin Chen has reached the 4th level of bronze and has been trained, beaten, by Mu Sueking. He has broken through. There are several small limits. But it is still far from reaching the big limit. Continue, Lin Chen adjusted the gravity chamber to 6 times. The upper limit is 100 times, but it is still far from enough. While Lin Chen was exercising crazily, he also looked at the potential of Jiao Xiao, Bully, and Bai Shui, the 3 little guys. How is the value? Both Jiao Xiao and Bully have exceeded 42%. The little guy Bai Shui has made the fastest progress and is the hardest working. Of course, it has something to do with resources. The potential value has been directly raised to 60%. However, it is not that simple to break through the potential value in the future. It takes time to polish it. It will probably take about a month to fully understand it. In the evening, Quina came back from school and looked at Lin Chen. There was a trace in her eyes. He rushed over completely naked. Cough cough cough, let go, I will be suffocated to death, Lin Chen said in a deep voice, his voice a little angry. Only then did Quina let Lin Chen go excitedly. Miss me, dear, Quina hugged Lin Chen's neck and said to Lin Chen. Lin Chen rolled his eyes, dear, This bee has become more and more like taking advantage of himself recently. Let go. By the way, is there anything interesting happening in the class recently? Lin Chen asked Quina. Interesting things. Does Starko count? Quina looked at Lin Chen and asked. Oh? What's wrong? That guy, Lin Chen asked Quina. That guy just dropped out of school without knowing what happened. Quina thought for a while and said to Lin Chen. Drop out of school? Lin Chen raised his eyebrows. This is Shenlong University. Most people would like to stay here for the rest of their lives. How could someone want to drop out of school? But Lin Chen just thought about it. What to do is his business. The relationship with Lin Chen not big. I'm going to make some food first. What do you want to eat tonight? Lin Chen said to Quina. Except for the last step, he and Quina have done everything else. Well, I want to eat barbecue, Quina raised her hand and said. Okay, Lin Chen nodded and went to the kitchen to get something to eat. After eating and drinking in the evening, Quina returned to her small room. The bed inside had been replaced by a large bed, occupying 2/3 of the space. Lin Chen narrowed his eyes slightly. The thunder beating on his body not only exercised Lin Chen's own cells and muscles. Toot toot, a dark red luster flashed on Lin Chen's wrist. Lin Chen raised his eyebrows and looked at the watch with the dark red light. Have a mission, Lin Chen murmured, looking at the dark red watch in his hand, and then clicked it. E-level mission. Mission introduction, Shenlong area, E-level evil energy reaction was discovered. Please nearby law enforcement officers to rush to the evil energy reaction immediately. Location investigation. Mission reward, 100 points, 10 experience. An E-level mission. Why don't you go take a look? Lin Chen called up the surrounding map. It was not far from him. The red dot was 2 streets away from him. Other than that, the other green dots were very far away. The red dot is the location where the mission occurs, and the green dot is the other law enforcers. Go check it out. Anyway, the other law enforcement officers are relatively far away and we don't know when they will come over. If there is danger, just run away. Thinking of this, Lin Chen directly activated the dark red armor. It covered his whole body, then jumped out of the window, stepped on the roofs of buildings and rushed towards the place where the evil energy was reacting. 5 minutes later. Lin Chen, we arrived at the place where the evil energy was discovered. Disappeared. Lin Chen looked at his watch. The evil energy is still here, and the red light spots are reacting. Wrong. Lin Chen jumped down from the roof. This is a civilian area, please note that it is civilians, not poor people. When it landed on the smooth street, the red dot was right below Lin Chen. Sewer. Lin Chen looked at the manhole cover under his feet. The sewer system, even in the interstellar era, cannot avoid this kind of thing. After all, if there is nothing, those dirty things cannot be discharged. Thinking of this, Lin Chen opened the manhole cover and jumped go in. In the dark sewer, an infrared line of sight appeared in front of Lin Chen. He could easily see the situation inside the sewer as if it were daytime. The armor also has the filtration system, there will be no problems when breathing, and there will be no rotten, sour smell. Lin Chen directly took out the devouring euphorbia and appeared in the sewer holding the black euphorbia. There was a sound of chewing food. Lin Chen frowned and walked in the direction of the sound, with a hint of vigilance in his eyes. Although I haven't seen anything evil yet, basically anything that can appear in such a place is not a good thing, or even a scary thing. If you want to say why Lin Chen knows, that's of course. Haven't you seen the movie? Generally, things that appear in places like this are not good things. Think of this. A trace of curiosity arose in Lin Chen's heart. I walked in the direction where the sound came from, but the image was not very nice. It should be a tall body. I leaned on the wall and leaned against the wall cautiously. Beast Tamer, Divine Beast Tamer. Author, I am Lao Wu. Chapter 100. Lin Chen almost vomited out what he saw. A fight was a fight, but it was a dead person. This was the first time in Lin Chen's life that he had seen a dead person, and he died so miserably. The stomach was disemboweled, the intestines and internal organs were spilled all over the floor, and Lin Chen almost vomited it out. And there's a weirdo. To be precise, it is the kind of tentacle monster. The small tentacles on the head are constantly shaking and fluttering. The entire face has mutated and the teeth are bald. There is also a long tail behind it. There is still disgusting mucus all over the body. What the hell is this? Lin Chen's heart was beating with hormones and adrenaline soaring. He didn't feel this way even when facing those bugs. The sound of swallowing kept rising, and Lin Chen felt a little dizzy. It wasn't that his san value had dropped, but that he was simply nauseated. That guy eating meat. And it's human flesh. Mothu, die, Lin Chen got angry, and the dark red armor on his body lit up with thunder. The black euphorbia fell directly with the purple thunder. The monster was killed by Lin Chen before he could react. Is this monster too weak? No, Lin Chen is too strong. This thing is too disgusting. Lin Chen looked at the body on the ground that was split into two parts. His stomach was churning. Again, Lin Chen looked at the corpse and looked at the watch on his hand. The red spots haven't disappeared yet. Not good. The next moment Lin Chen left the place, a terrifying tentacle directly shattered the ground. A star beast appeared in front of Lin Chen. Now maybe I shouldn't say it's a star beast. The original Little Earth dog was supposed to be a cute star beast that was a bit silly and looked like a fool. But this one in front of me. The whole body is covered with tentacles, as well as eyes. There is an eye growing on each tentacle, which is open and cracked, and the canine teeth are intertwined. You want to go to heaven? Lin Chen looked at this mutated Little Earth dog with a fierce look in his eyes. Not only people, but also star beasts will mutate. What is this evil energy? Lin Chen has a headache. Is it one of the things that was covered up? The black halberd burst out with bright thunder, directly piercing the mutated star beast and nailing it to the wall. Lin Chen grabbed the handle of the halberd. The purple-red the light was booming. The flash of thunder was transmitted to the mutated star beast that was not dead yet. The electric arc kept beating, and Lin Chen let go of his hand only when the mutated star beast had completely beaten GG and turned into charcoal. After seeing it, look at the watch in his hand. The red light spot has disappeared. Lin Chen looked at the dead man with a hint of helplessness in his eyes. The man was already dead before he came, and Lin Chen had nothing to do. Open the watch. Click Submit Mission Accomplished. A message was sent. Please wait for the law enforcement officers, and someone will confirm it later. Lin Chen looked at the news and waited for a few minutes before someone came over. A group of well-trained people with white body bags in their hands. No wonder, very little news is passed on. It turns out that's the case. Lin Chen watched the group of people clean up the traces of the scene, and then Lin Chen left. Mission accomplished. Retired with success. Lin Chen felt as if he was a scavenger in the dark, and they were here to clean up. At the scene. When I got home, it was only half an hour. Lin Chen felt very tired. That thing should be something that only evolves when the sanity value no longer exists. Lin Chen slowly thought that there was a hint of chill in his heart. Damn, it seems pretty good though. Lin Chen thought with some nerves that the turbulence in his stomach at first has passed. Now he is used to it. He looked at the information on his wrist and saw that he had an extra 100 points and 10 experience points. Not bad. Also, the work was not in vain. The next day, Lin Chen woke up early and looked at Quina lying on top of him. After thinking about it, find a time to push Quina away first. Get up, Lin Chen pushed Quina, and then got up helplessly and went to wash up. Soon Quina also walked in a daze. walked up to behind Lin Chen and hugged Lin Chen. Lin Chen was a little unhappy. Looking in the mirror, Quina is a head taller than herself. Get up, pig, you're not going to class, Lin Chen patted Quina angrily. Quina opened her eyes in a daze and started to wash up. It was easy to eat something. The two of them went to school together. When they arrived at school, Lin Chen was alone go and receive Mu Sweking's love education, beating. You did well last night. Before Lin Chen spoke, Mu Sweking spoke. Lin Chen. It is the first time to face an evil thing, and it is already very good to be able to perform so well, Mu Sweking nodded seriously. Evil thing? It's the same thing from last night? Lin Chen looked at Mu Sweking and said. Yes, that's it. It will transform into that kind of thing after its sanity reaches zero. And the longer that state lasts, the stronger the strength will be, Mu Sweking said in a deep voice. Not only people, but also star beasts will be contaminated by the evil energy of the evil god. This is an inevitable loss. Only some people have despair and negative emotions in their hearts. The deeper these negative emotions are, the easier it is to be bewitched by the evil god. Not only despair, but also anger and other negative emotions. The one you met last night was a member of the gluttony cult, Mu Sweking said in a deep voice. But it's not bad, just an E-class evil thing. There is no spiritual pollution yet. Some powerful cultists have the ability to spiritually contaminate themselves, just like a walking plague, Mu Sweking said this with disgust in her eyes. And don't think that cultists are all that kind of thing. After experiencing the initial madness, these cultists will slowly become indistinguishable from ordinary people. Even if they are not exposed, there is no way to detect them. Do you know the harm? How old are you? Mu Sweking looked at Lin Chen and said word by word. Lin Chen took a deep breath, feeling a little uncomfortable like this. But fortunately, these things are still under control, so they don't dare to show their faces easily, Mu Sweking said slowly. In addition, if nothing happens, just exercise your own strength. Mental pollution is the most terrifying thing. Only a firm will can eliminate and fight against this pollution, Mu Sweking said lightly. No, Lin Chen nodded, he didn't want to become that kind of messy thing. This is too disgusting, too delicious, Lin Chen can't accept it.